Two men, two microphones, one movie, a couple of beers, and some wildly outlandish critiques about the movies you may or may not love. The following review will have massive spoilers and possibly offensive commentary. This content may not be suitable for little bitches. Brought to you by Goat Straw Entertainment and some liquid courage.
Hey, how's it going, movie lovers? Welcome back to another episode of Not Your Everyday Critics. I am your host, George Lugo.
And I'm Manny Rivera.
And when we do on this podcast, if you've never seen it before, is we rate and critique movies of all genres and budgets and independence or big blockbuster films. So, go ahead.
Like always, these critiques are our own point of view. You know, we're just a couple of dudes that are infatuated with so many different types of movies. And again, take it as you will. Some movies might not be for some people, but it doesn't mean it isn't for somebody else. With, I don't know how many movies there are in the world right now, but, you know, just a bunch of fun stuff to get to.
Yeah, it's roughly about 500,000 movies in all of existence. I don't know how accurate that number is. That's just a number we found on the web. So,
Yeah, there's probably more.
Probably more.
Probably more.
So, what do you say we take another one off the block here? So,
yes.
We haven't done the show in a while, and I'm sure you could probably see why. I had a surgery, so we're going to be more consistent now, and now that I'm back to actually doing stuff. So the movie that we're going to be critiquing today is going to be Matrix Resurrections. And I know this movie had gotten some issues, like with conflict on the storyline, and that it was like a money grab and stuff like that. So we're going to jump into it and dice it up, and I don't know, we're going to rate this motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting kind of... It was a fun movie, for sure, so...
Yeah. So let's jump into it. We're going to go over the plot summary. So...
Return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life. The other, what lies behind it. To find out his reality is a construct. To truly know himself, Mr. Anderson will have to choose to follow the White Rabbit once more.
So
that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. Kind of makes me wonder what the original for the synopsis for The Matrix instead of the Resurrection, if it was similar or not. But I like the fact they were like once more. Like he has to go back into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Matrix. The original Matrix came out in 1999, and that was such a long time ago.
I was 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah, I would think I was only like 14 years old when that movie came out. 15 years old when that movie came out.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was definitely an eye opener. You know, because they took the concept of we're in a simulation, you know, and they just kind of ran with it. It's funny because that's like a topic now that a lot of people talk about, like, are we in a simulation? And then like even Elon Musk says now, he said it's more likely that we are in a simulation now than we are not. So I mean, how fucking mind blowing is that? That's insane.
Is crazy.
It's insane to even like work the concept that like this could literally be a computer program.
There's like some people that believe when you die, you go to heaven, you die, you go to hell. There are other people that think that when you die, you actually wake up into this kind of scenario. Like your brain just functions and you're in this kind of ordeal. And people believe that and I read about this too, people believe that the spirits or whatever are actually people that are talking to you on the other side of like the actual, not because you're in the Matrix is what they're saying. On the other side,
that you're in a simulation or like a parallel universe.
Yeah,
so like,
that's what there's some people that actually believe that.
Some people do like they talk about like if you do like a DMT that you actually tap into that universe.
It's so freaking weird.
And there's a lot of stories there.
There is people's imaginations,
but they match up. There are some stories that actually match up from different sources, which gives a little bit of credit. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So what do you say we jump into?
Oh, and we're drinking today. And the thing that we're drinking today, I'm going to make our toast here. We're going to go with a classic Jack and Coke.
This is Gentleman Jack and Coke.
Gentleman
okay?
Jack and Coke.
Our usual bartender is not with us today. I'm not sure if you noticed, but David Raby is out sick.
Yeah, he
doesn't have COVID, but he just it's flu season, so he's out.
Yeah,
so this is to David. Cheers,
David.
Cheers, David.
Ooh, that's yummy.
Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman Jack's nice.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way to go for Jack and Coke.
I've always loved the original.
I don't like drinking Gentleman Jack like on the rocks because I don't think it's that high end enough for that. You know, it's fine. You know, it has a little less bite than regular Jack Daniels. Yeah. But if you want to do like a better like Jack Daniels whiskey on the rocks, I would definitely go single barrel.
Single barrel. Yeah. This is actually really good in itself right now.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Jack.
Yeah. All right. So what do you say we jump into the intro?
Yeah. Let's go.
So the movie starts off kind of exactly how the first one did. So with the Matrix theme song, and all the horns and stuff.
Yeah.
And they even have the Warner Brothers logo appear in the Matrix code, and then they show it again without it, and it's like they show the lot, and the lot is normal. It doesn't have any code.
Yeah.
So there's theories on that, on how like it's kind of like the Matrix is like real, and then like reality, the Warner Brothers thing is like the simulation. So it's interesting. So cool. I just thought that was interesting. But it literally starts out just like the original 1999 Matrix, with the whole scene with Trinity in the beginning of the movie where the agents show up. And actually, no, I take that back. Let's go one step back. It starts off with the conversation. There's a little bit of code, and like the thing pops up, and you hear Bugs, and you hear Sequoia, Seek talking. And they're like, "Oh, what is this?"
Yeah.
They're like, "This is like old code, like what's going on here?" And they're like, and then she's like, "I don't know, plug me in, I want to check it out." He's like, "All right." So he plugs her in, and it's the scene from the original Matrix with Trinity, where she's up in the in that room by herself on the computer, and the police are downstairs, and they're going up to her. They're like, the agents show up, and the cops like, "Oh shit!" And then the agents start walking in. They're like, "I think we can handle one little girl," and he was like, "Our guys are up there right now. They're bringing her down." He's like, "No, your men are already dead."
Real quick on the side, though, that girl that plays Trinity in that image that they're supposed to be seeing, she does it pretty damn well.
She does do it pretty well.
I don't know her name. Like, I couldn't find who the hell that was, but
I'm sure we could find it, but we're not worried about that right now.
Yeah, but she did it so good.
So an interesting thing to point out here is that Bugs is watching this from, out. She's out of frame. So she's looking into it, and she's like, why would you use old code for something that already exists, but have like entirely new scenarios, like new people, and it's not playing out the same? So it's weird because it literally is. It's not playing out the same. There are similarities to the first movie, but it's not the same. They're using different characters.
Yeah.
And so Bugs is a little flustered, confused by why they would do that. And so Trinity ends up getting away, but she gets caught on one of the roofs as she's trying to escape by some of the agents. And then Bugs is like, "This is weird. This is not supposed to happen. She's just supposed to kick the shit out of these guys and get away." So it's like, why would you? Yeah, exactly. Why would you have old code why would you write old code for something new? It doesn't make any sense. All that has already existed. We know how it ends. So why would they do that? And then when she says that, a helicopter comes in and bless you, bitch, and flashes a light on Bugs, and now she has to try and escape. But she ends up trying to get away from the helicopter. She runs onto the roof where all the agents are. So it's like, oh, you done fucked up.
It just so sucks that's what happens.
You done fucked up. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be going now." Kind of like a silly cartoon character.
Very nonchalant, like, hey.
And she doesn't get away. They end up chasing her. She does like a little fight, just knocks them back to get away.
Yeah.
And I guess the character that's supposed to be Smith / I guess, well, we'll come to that in a second, is chasing her.
Yeah.
And she runs into like a little key shop, and then Smith sneaks in, right? And he apparently has been questioning everything that's like going on in his reality. She like confronts him, and she's like, "Oh, do you realize that you're like a digital sentience?" You know, that she basically asked him, "Do you realize that you're a computer program?" You know, and he says that he knows what he is, and that his program was there to remove sentience. So like, not computer programs, but like, the machines.
Yeah.
His thing is that he's supposed to, for some reason, he's supposed to remove the machines.
Yeah.
It's weird because in the subtitles it says sentience. So he explains his story. He's talking.
Are you sure that was the after image of what Smith was supposed to be? Because I remember right, Smith had turned out to be.
No, you're okay. You're getting too far ahead.
Is that something different?
You're getting too far ahead.
Okay.
So, Smith tells his story, right? He talks about doing the same routine. You know, for some reason he goes to the gym. I'm like, this is where I found it kind of odd. I'm like, he goes to the gym, he takes a shower, he does a lot of things that a human in the Matrix would do, like just a regular person, I guess. But he's technically an agent, so it's like, why does he have his own place? Why does he go to the gym? I had a bunch of questions, and I was like, okay, but we're gonna let it go for the sake of the story because that's the way it is.
Because we don't have answers for him either.
We don't have exact answers. But I just found it funny that he went to the gym. I'm like, you literally can dodge bullets and do all this crazy because he's technically an agent. You know, his code.
Dodge bullets, like jump buildings,
but he's on a treadmill, and I'm like, what? Is he like is he gonna hit the
curling 20s,
right? He's gonna hit the elliptical next. And he talks about how he realizes that he's stuck in a loop and something's different. Like he's basically supposed to do something different, you know? Mm. And that's when he realizes he's there to actually like fight for the cause and like actually help procure the one and, you know, help sentience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he reveals to Bugs that his name is Morpheus. So this character is actually, he's a hybrid. So we'll get to that in a second. So, Bugs and Morpheus now have to escape. So they go back through the hallway, and Bugs has been using like the portals for the doors, like the Keymaker did in Reloaded.
Yeah.
So she's doing that, and when she does that, she, accidentally goes back into the key shop, or Morpheus accidentally goes back to the key shop because he's all fucked up from taking the red pill.
Yeah. He's all fucking loopy and shit.
He's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And the other agents are in there, and they're like, Smith, and he's like, he just starts laughing. He's all fucked up. And then Bugs grabs him, pulls him back into the hallway. They run down the hallway. Now the agents have access to that hallway now. So I mean, that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. You know, the agents have access to that hallway. I don't know how useful that is because technically.
Well, I mean,
anyways, so they end up getting away, and we're almost at the 15-minute mark here. Bugs gets away, and then we're kind of shifted onto a computer screen, which is showing the Matrix, and then it zooms out, and then we see a hand on the computer, and there's like a game there, and then it's Neo, and he's actually a computer engineer or a gaming engineer, and like they show the room and stuff, and he's got awards, and he has figurines from the game.
Yeah.
And so it turns out that the way he believes it, that he's a computer engineer, and that he created the game The Matrix. So we're at about the 15-minute mark here, and there's a few things in there just that I would like to point out. So like they show his game awards, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out there wasn't any like awards for games for that specific company until 2014, but it was awarded to him in 1999 for what it takes place at the same time that movie was released, and The Matrix was supposed to happen in 99.
Yeah.
So it's just another thing there to trick him into thinking that it's real, but it's not, There's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. I'm sure if you're a fan of The Matrix, you caught some, but there are actually some that are a little bit harder to see at first glance. So you're going to have to watch the movie a couple times if you're into The Matrix. So what did you think of the intro?
It's, you know what? It was very, a lot of action in the beginning. It was very fun, very fun to watch. The fact that they played the whole scenario again from the first movie. And then being able to see, what's that girl's name?
Which one?
The one that's looking at the image.
Bugs.
Seeing Bugs look at the almost like a recording, like a live recording of what had happened in the first movie, and the whole scenario going down, and it was pretty cool the way they played everything out. It was just really, really cool to see it come out that way.
It was done pretty well. So at the beginning when they're showing that sequence, so apparently since he's a computer engineer and he's actually in the Matrix, and that's not even like the Matrix, it's a modal. So it's like a computer program that was designed to run like infinite scenarios, like different scenarios and whatnot. He created this program, and Bugs just happened to stumble upon it. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of like this movie's very meta. So it's like they take a step back, and you're like in the Matrix, but also not in the Matrix, and it's like very like self-aware. It's interesting. So I like that. It has a very.
It was I enjoyed it. It was very fun. I mean, it was again interesting to see the way people look out onto, what the world could be like, and it was great. I like it.
Yeah. So what do you say we jump into our next category then? We're gonna do the cast.
Oh yeah.
So hold on to your butts.
Surprisingly enough, it's a freaking huge cast.
It's a big cast. So here we go. Obviously, Keanu Reeves returns as Neo / Thomas Anderson. Big part of the Matrix. The whole reason it exists. Carrie Ann Moss is returning as Trinity and / Tiffany. Yahya, I believe they pronounce it Yaha Abdul Mateen II. He plays Morpheus / Agent Smith. Jonathan Groff, he plays Smith, the different adaptation of Smith. And not gonna lie, he's handsome as fuck.
He's a pretty good looking guy. Pretty good looking guy. Got a smile that'll just.
Yeah. Jessica Henwick plays Bugs, and she's hot as fuck.
She's
really
nice.
Hot as fuck. Really nice. Neil Patrick Harris, the always amazing, always fucking hilarious, talented Neil Patrick Harris plays.
Neil Patrick Harris, man. I fucking love that guy.
I love him. He plays the analyst. He's fucking amazing.
He's always been really good and very talented as an actor.
I don't think I've seen many movies where I'm just like, fuck that guy.
Nah, not really. No. But he's been in a lot of fucking things. And
Jada Pinkett Smith is Niobe.
Yep.
Makes a return as Niobe. Priyanka Chopra Jonas is Sati. This was very surprising. Christina Ricci is Gwendavere. Ricci.
I know how it's spelled, but she pronounces it Ricci.
Well, she's pronouncing her own name wrong.
Okay.
Lambert Wilson is the Merovingian. The Merovingian makes a return. I really like that character. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Anthony Lewis Caldwell plays Jude. Toby Onwumer plays Sequoia. Max Rymelt plays Shepard. Joshua Groth plays Funklin. I don't know how to pronounce that because there's like
plays some character.
Yeah, he plays a character in there. Brian J. Smith is Berg. Arendira Ibarra plays Lexi. Michael X. Sommers plays Scrose. L. Trey Wilson plays Hanno. We'll do a few more of these here. Mumbi Mina plays Elster. Max Mouth plays Quillian. Parab Kohli plays Zen. Freema Ajiman plays Astra. Sabrina Strell plays Fiona.
There's
Andrew
a few more,
Rodney
dude.
plays. Or just want to do one more after this. Andrew Rodney plays Scott, and Cooper Rivers plays GJ.
I don't know who that is.
He's one of the. Oh, he's the guy. He's always talking about the. It's like, what was awesome about the Matrix is that it blew your mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna give a toast to the rest of the cast. Thank you for being a part of it. Cheers. Yeah. So overall cast,
big cast, a lot of people, very good,
very big cast. It was done pretty well.
Definitely talented people. For sure.
I know there was a lot of controversy when they didn't cast Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. But I mean, based on how that character is portrayed in this movie, it makes sense. It really makes sense that they didn't use Lawrence Fishburne. Also, Hugo Weaving didn't make an appearance as, the viral Agent Smith, which I think is fine because the new adaptation for Smith was incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss is returning as, Neo and Trinity. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Niobe came back as Jada Pinkett Smith came back as Niobe. That's awesome. That was actually kind of cool to see her in there. I like her character because they stayed pretty true to her character, and they gave her character some growth. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that was actually really fun to see her in there. She was all old as shit. And
I'm surprised she was alive. So I mean, it was like 60 years later. The whole movie takes place 60 years after
and then Neo hasn't really changed much.
She changed a lot.
No, Neo hasn't really changed much.
Well, yeah, they brought his ass back from the dead. So
exactly. I mean, that's why she keeps saying,
yeah.
Look at you, still looking
yeah.
insane.
So what do you say we move on to our next category here? So we're going to move on to writing. So the movie was written by Lana Wachowski and also written by David Mitchell. So Lana Wachowski was one of the original creators of the original Matrix. There was, at the time, it was the Wachowskis. It was a dual project.
Yeah.
And I believe the other Wachowski did some work also.
I don't know. I don't know if they both
written
worked
by
on
Lana
the thing,
Wachowski, David Mitchell, and Alexander. That's a very
Alexander
Herman. Alexander. That's a very
That is very.
That's an interesting way to spell that.
Huh.
Alexander. And
Cool.
Yeah, we have to make a note for Lily Wachowski based on the characters that she helped create in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Writing was pretty good, considering that if you think about the movie was already finished. Neither of the Wachowskis wanted to mess with it any further. Apparently, Lana was going through some issues, dealing with grief. Her mother, her father, a friend passed away, and
like within a year or what?
I think it was a very, very short time frame. I think it was like a year or 2 years.
Jesus,
she lost a few people, and then decided to just start writing and just wrote to cope. So that's why the whole resurrection thing. So she lost somebody, so she brought them back. So I thought that was kind of.
So she wrote into her own adaptation for the movie.
Yeah, so it's
to get over the people that she lost. That's
really
fucking nuts.
It wasn't really. I wouldn't consider it a cash grab. It was gonna make some money just because it's the Matrix, but I mean, it's not. I don't think it was. I didn't check the numbers yet, so it's probably not a big blockbuster like the original one was.
Nah, the original one was
so
heavy. This one
overall, though, the writing that Lana did, along with David and Alexander, that I think was pretty solid.
I didn't have a problem really too much.
There wasn't too many. I was looking for like issues and loopholes. They covered most of it. I think the biggest literally was with Smith when they were doing his like little recap. And I was like, that's kind of weird, but okay.
Well, now that you explained why she wrote what it is that she wrote, how she wrote the Matrix Resurrection for her to get over what she had lost, I now understand more of why she went the direction she did with the movie.
Yeah, right? Makes more sense.
It makes way more sense.
Way more
I
sense.
didn't know that's what happened.
It's a good way to cope.
But man, it was just the whole movie. I mean, as much action as it was in there, being lost and try to find something, just all those emotions being mixed into it.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't understand it at first, but now after explaining what had happened, I totally freaking get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Man, that had to be tough for her though.
It's unfortunate for her, but I mean, at least she did something constructive with it and didn't spiral.
Yeah.
So,
you always hear about people just losing their mind.
Yeah. So let's do that. And we're already on kind of on the topic of Lana. So what do we say? What do you say we move on to our next category? Direction.
Which again, Lana
was the director.
Was the director. She had a very good view on how she wanted to, record this movie. There was a lot of heart into this movie. There was a lot of sorrow into this movie. It was just mixed emotions everywhere around. It was fun to try to see where she was going to go with it.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like what's going on kind of ordeal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was great.
It's interesting. The way she approached it. It was kind of like she paid a lot of homage, to like her original creation.
Yeah.
But also spiced it up.
Yeah, it wasn't her same image like how she did the other Matrix movies.
Yeah, it was like that, but just revamped and put into a more modern telling, which I really enjoyed. I liked like for example, in the original Matrix, they had to use phones to jack into the Matrix, which made sense because if you're going on the internet, guess what you need? A landline. You need a way to get onto the internet.
Exactly.
And so they've come this far within the 60 years that obviously the technology has increased, and now they don't even need phone jacks anymore, and they can go through portals, because the Matrix also got an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was done very well, and the way that she directs is it's very method. She basically they don't do a lot of rehearsal. They kind of just show up on set, and you need to know your lines and just kind of go for it.
Yeah. She'll tell you the whole what I need more, what I need less of, as directors do.
Yeah. And it was funny because I was listening to a video, and the actor that plays Smith, the handsome man, he was talking about like he didn't want to rehearse because he didn't want to rehearse the scene for when he screams, "Mr. Anderson." He didn't want to sound like Hugo Weaving because then that might upset Lana. Like he also didn't want to like exactly copy that. He wanted to create and give this character new birth.
Own original,
which is something him and Yahya also did for Morpheus. They both made new adaptations for this because technically they're two new characters. They're not exactly the original characters. They're new. So they gave birth to these new characters, and like he didn't want to rehearse and get stuck on something that was already pre-existing. He wanted to make it his own, So he kind of just was watching a lot of like Hugo Weaving, and just when he showed up, he just fucking winged it and he killed it.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
He fucking killed it.
Very good.
Well, let's talk about other movies she's directed really quick. So we got all the Matrix, right? Sense8.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be really good. I haven't watched it yet. I hear it's amazing. Jupiter Ascending, that's that show
Jupiter
on.
Ascending is such a good one.
Cloud Atlas is good.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like this movie, but I really enjoyed it. Was Speed Racer.
It was a fun movie.
It was super fun.
Yeah, it was a fun
movie. Paid
movie.
a lot of homage to the movie, but also gave it its own original it's modern creativity, its
Yeah.
own originality. So
She did
that was
Bound.
really nice.
Did you remember Bound? She
Bound.
did Bound.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Okay.
But yeah, she's
Maybe we'll cover that again.
She's got a few of them in there, and like I said, V for Vendetta. I'm surprised you don't see it in yours, but it's in mine right here.
As a director?
That's what it says. She got notable work for it. So, but I mean, still, she is an amazing person, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very notable work.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on there.
Soundtrack
And score. So a lot of the original music was done by, let's see here, Johnny Klimek and Tom Tykwer. That's an interesting name. You got original score by them.
Overall, when it comes to the score and the soundtrack of the movie,
so
it's not too bad.
What's his name? John Klimek. He's got 67 credits to his name, including The Matrix, Lords of Shanghai, Messiah, Jed, Babylon Berlin, Sense8. So another project where he worked with Lana, Jungle, Darkness. There's a lot of credits on here.
I'm sure.
Frankenstein. I enjoyed that movie. Cloud Atlas, another movie that he worked with.
I imagine that he's got a lot to back up his work.
It makes sense that Lana would use him because they already have a connection.
She's worked with him before.
He knows what she's looking for, and the music it had the right tone, so they didn't stray too far or at all. I feel like from the original Matrix, so they kept that same dark, like mysterious tone to the whole movie, which was nice.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah. So let's move on to wardrobe. It's a big thing for the Matrix.
Dude, their new looks when they're in the Matrix and then in the, I guess, what is it, the real world or whatever it is that they're in? It wasn't too far off from what the original was, but what was that new neck piece that he had on him?
They did have, I noticed they had a new neck piece.
They had a new neck piece.
Yeah. It was like a bracket that looks like it connected to the
spine.
Yeah,
because if you notice the other ones, they don't have that. They don't have that, yeah. But he's got a new neck piece. But then again, they
all do. They all have it. Trinity had it too.
Trinity had it and Neo had it, but nobody else had it. They all had the original stuff. But the only reason why they have the new neck piece is because they were in their own pods separately from everybody else too. They brought them.
I'm gonna have to double check on that, but
and remember they brought them back to life, so they must have had to fucking do some different shit.
It's possible they had upgrades for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when I saw that and it was freaking, I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, the neck piece was interesting.
Yeah, they didn't explain more about it or anything, and I wanted to know more about it. Like, I don't know.
I don't think they need to go into detail about that because it's gonna take too long to tell that part of the story, and then also on top of that, then they have to explain the science behind it.
Yeah.
So it's just easier, just let it go. I feel like that's kind of like why they rushed the resurrection thing. They kind of just like they're like, oh, we brought you back to life, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because then they have to explain everything. And that's a whole movie in itself,
I mean, they did give a little piece of how they explained how they brought Neo and Trinity back to life, because if you remember, Trinity was fucking stabbed through the chest, impaled.
She was impaled and
then Neo was freaking fried.
Neo was
fried.
Basically fried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was definitely
but also you have to imagine that the machines know everything about the human anatomy. So I mean,
of course.
I'm sure they would building a body from scratch wouldn't be impossible.
Yeah. I like how Neo kept his John Wick look inside the freaking real world and shit. Like,
yeah, he kept his original
his long hair,
his everyday look
mustache.
Now. That's his everyday look. I like it. I like Keanu Reeves' new look.
And then when you shave his head and he looks like, you've seen him so long with the long hair and the beard that, when they go back to the original look that he had, it's just like it's Neo. Like you see it's Neo, and then it's just he doesn't look the same. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely intense. Let's see. For the rest of the wardrobe, I mean, it was all. I think one of the most noticeable things we can comment on is probably Morpheus. How
Very colorful.
His outfit's very colorful.
Very colorful. A lot of personality.
Really
yeah.
Very purple.
Very purple.
I love it.
Very purple. Well, also again, Neil Patrick Harris's outfit as a psychiatrist, and then because he knows he's he's a program, right? Not a machine.
He is a program.
He is a program,
but he's like
inside
a highly advanced program. He's
and
basically controlling the Matrix.
And the way he dresses himself, his attire is very well mannered and appropriate for, I guess, what he's going for.
Well, it's supposed to be. He's not trying to lead on that he's a program. He's trying to basically trick Neo into, hey, I am your therapist.
Yeah, but then he exposes himself right there and like afterwards and everything.
Well, after Neo's starting to escape, he does expose himself.
Yeah.
But before that, no. Yeah. Neo's not even close to being aware about that.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of good wardrobe.
Definitely a lot of outfit changes, especially when they go back into the Matrix. How everybody that you see, like normal, like all the other Matrix movies, from when they're on their world, going into the fake world, when they're all dressed in black and all glasses and everything like that.
If you go back to the original Matrix, Morpheus called it residual self-image. So what you would picture yourself as in the Matrix, as you would dress casually.
Yeah.
So I mean that's how they imagine they dressed.
Yeah. And then what's her name? Jada. The way they made her look old and
yeah, there was a lot of good work. There was a lot of good work
there.
There's a lot of good work there with that, They gave her even like a little bit of cataracts,
Her attitude just never changed. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Her attitude was pretty solid. So I mean, I'm glad they kept her like a kind of a grumpy person.
Yeah, no, it was freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with the wardrobe. The wardrobe was amazing.
Was good. Let's move on to our next category. Action sequence.
Dude, there was a lot of nice freaking
there's a lot of action here.
There is so much. My favorite action sequences, okay, is when Neo is inside trying to convince Trinity, because he wants to see Trinity, make her believe that she is, part of his world and the real world and everything like that, whatever it is that they should be together. And she has a hard time believing that, and she's accepting it because she has her kids with her husband and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to convince her as much as possible that, that this is where they belong, this is where they should be and everything like that. And at one point she's not accepting what it is that, that Neo's trying to explain. And she's trying to walk away because her life is with her husband and her kids. Like, she has that kind of lifestyle that she enjoys. She has. And as she starts to walk away and these images in her head start popping up and starting to realize, what, this isn't the real world. These aren't really my kid. This isn't my husband. As her husband grabs her,
mm-hmm.
calling her Tiffany. She turns around and tells him, what is it? What did she say? Don't call me Tiffany?
Yeah, she's like, I hate that fucking name.
I hate that fucking name.
Yeah.
And then his eyes switch over and everything, and then she just fucking hits him.
Becomes a bot.
Yeah. And then that's when they get into this big old brawl, and everybody starts fighting and everything like that. And it's a powerful moment, because now Trinity's trying to fight to get to Neo, and now Neo's trying to fight to get Trinity, so they can just be together and everything like that. It's just a big move. Everybody's getting into a huge old brawl, and Neil Patrick Harris is trying to prevent them from touching each other, because of whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure, but apparently they're more powerful together than they are separated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an awesome action sequence that, they're just trying to fight so they can be with each other and everything. And then Neo just pulls the power in from the inside of him and just uses force unimaginable, just trying to get to Trinity as much as possible. And then they're reaching out for each other, trying to grab hand in hand. so freaking far away, it seems like, and so much they're trying to just hold on to each other. And then when they touch hands and everything, just a big old burst of energy just throws everybody back. And you see how much they come together, and it's just like how it's supposed to be. And it's one of the best scenes that I've seen. That just makes it all worthwhile for me.
Okay. That's a good scene. Now we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to talk about lackluster scenes.
Okay.
So, I think the biggest lackluster scene would probably be the scene that most people would agree with me on, is when Neo fights Smith in the restroom. And the reason it's considered to be lackluster is because there's not a big choreographed fight. The choreography is very, very minimal.
Refill?
Right? Yeah, I'll take a refill. Thank you. The choreography is very minimal. There's not a lot of special moves. There's not a lot of flips and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people were bummed out because that was kind of what made The Matrix stand out, because it took sci-fi and it added martial arts to it.
Yeah.
So it was like a kung fu sci-fi movie. But people need to also understand that Keanu Reeves is over 50 years old. He can't be doing these moves like he used to.
No.
He's not like, even if if they're making a movie about the Matrix, he's not literally in there. So I mean, he's restricted by, what his body can do.
Old age.
He's restricted by age, literally.
I mean, he still gets down for what most part
down
of it
pretty
is.
well, but I mean, I'm okay with him being like, I'm old, I'm just gonna do the,
Yeah.
And I like that he used that a lot.
He did.
If I had telekinesis, I'd use it all the time. You wouldn't even be pouring that. I would have made this with my mind.
You would have made it with your brain.
Yeah. So it's like, don't hate on the fact that he can move things with his body, like. But I mean, that is probably the most lackluster part of the movie, because you're expecting a big fight scene, and then what you get is Smith is just stomping Neo, and it's clearly you can see how much more agile the young Smith is in comparison to, Neo.
Yeah, the movements in themselves were definitely slow.
Rigid and slow.
Okay, definitely slow. You can tell how slow they are. It was camera work that made it look like it was quick.
Yeah.
But those punches and throws and everything were definitely
He's
slow.
an older guy. So I mean, what are we gonna do? We gonna hate on Keanu Reeves?
No, I'm not gonna hate on Keanu Reeves.
Old?
Are you kidding me? The guy freaking gave us many good movies throughout the years, and it's one of the nicest guys ever. You know what I mean? I mean, he's still making. The guy doesn't have to make movies for us. He doesn't have to do anything for us, really. But he loves to do this. He loves to entertain. Like, it's one of the biggest things he says that he enjoys doing.
Yeah.
And that's why he does what he does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why, he'll continue to keep on doing what he's trying to do. And then right now he's actually trying to get one of his character back.
Oh, yeah?
He's trying to get a character back that he can play again.
Cheers me, motherfucker.
Oh, yes, I will cheers you.
Thank
of course.
You. Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the characters that he wants to play again, that he's been trying so hard to do, is John Constantine.
Oh, I would love that.
He's been trying forever to get another Constantine.
That movie got so much hate. I know we're not talking about it, but we'll just go over it really quick. It got a lot of hate.
It did.
But I mean, people, you have to realize that they're not gonna mimic the comic book exactly. They have to change the sequence and adapt it for a movie format, because it won't completely transfer over. Even in the Marvel movies, it doesn't completely transfer over. They have to change a lot, to make it work. And I think what they did for the movie adaptation worked well. I really enjoyed Constantine. I wanted to see more.
Yeah. He's been trying to get somebody.
I think he's too old for that role now, unfortunately.
You know what? He says that he's more than willing to try to come back and do the role.
I mean, I would love it.
The
I would
way
absolutely love that.
He wants to envision it, but he's tried so many people to get to do Constantine again. And it's a character he's loved for so long.
It's a good character.
And he just can't get anybody to hop on board with him.
So unfortunate. I would have loved to see a sequel. I was dying for a sequel, and I found out they weren't going to make it because it didn't make enough money.
But Keanu Reeves is definitely.
We're probably never gonna see that, unfortunately.
Probably
So,
not. You never know, though.
I mean, because they even did a TV series, and that didn't pan out. So I mean,
but anyway, going back to what we're talking about here, I mean, he's given us a lot, and as much as he's trying to do,
during the years,
as much as he's trying to do, with martial arts and just action movies in general, he's still trying, and to be honest, he's not half bad. I enjoy Keanu Reeves when he tries to do all that stuff.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that just take his age into consideration. Okay, don't just hate because like he wasn't doing all the crazy.
It's not the same like the original and blah blah blah.
Crazy shit
come
that
on,
he did
you
in the first
fuckers!
movie,
Seriously, give the guy a fucking break, man.
Yeah.
You get older, shit just gets harder.
Well,
come on.
Yeah, it gets harder for you to move your body around.
Yeah, exactly.
Control your body when you're just older. That's just not how it works.
No, it's not. That's why we have new talent that come to try to entertain us that way.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
You guys got to relax a little bit.
So let's move on to our next category. We're going to move on to originality. For originality, I would give it just a little bit of credit because they basically took something that was already existed and they expanded upon it. But they added some new things there that were not really a part of that universe, like the resurrection thing. That's definitely not a part of like the Matrix universe. But I liked it. Kind of original, but also kind of not original. Because in movies and TV shows, usually when a character dies off and the fans like it, what do they always do? They bring that character back. They somehow bring that character back to life.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jason. They kill that guy every movie. He's always back.
I mean,
that guy's gone to hell.
Dead. Though.
That guy goes to hell.
Yeah, Jason's been dead.
That's
what
I'm saying though. It's like there's.
I mean, if you want to look at somebody and say
there's money to be made.
Michael Myers has died so many times, and the guy was actually living at one.
He
point.
actually doesn't die. His character does not die. Jason's character dies.
Well, Michael should have died.
Does not die.
He's not a demon or anything.
He's
he was
a regular
regular dude.
He's a regular dude. That's what makes him so scary.
Who's took 7 shots to the chest
and walked it off like a champ.
And walked it off and said, "Ow."
Yeah. So that's why, like, whenever, just think about that in your next like soccer practice when a kid hurts his ankle and be like, Michael Myers took 7 shots to the chest. You pussy, walk it off.
And a knife to the chest or the stomach.
Walk it off.
Wire to the eye. Like the guy.
I get it.
Human.
We don't need to talk about more Halloween, but just like, yeah. But I mean.
So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, overall, I think what they did was they just expanded on their universe and they just tweaked it enough to make it kind of original. And especially since they were poking so much fun at the original Matrix in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
And then they were talking about how like he's working on a game, The Matrix, the game, and he's in the Matrix. It's meta. So it's
in
really
the Matrix,
good.
working
it's
on the
really
Matrix,
good.
the game.
It's very meta. And I like that. Like they took things that we liked, like for nostalgia, and just expanded upon it. So
yeah,
it was pretty good. So let's move on to our next category. Framework.
Oh man, I got to tell you,
there's a lot in this movie.
I got to tell you that freaking scene with Trinity and Neo on the motorcycle when they're going through the entire city, and you see the camera pull out to look up and see freaking bodies just jumping out of the windows.
That's a good one. I really like that scene.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that scene in itself. And it's like a whole thing too.
Yeah.
Freaking car explosions, people running after the bike and everything. Like you have like a full on image that the camera is just pulled back. And you can see that a lot of it is CGI, but at the same time, it's just an overall great camera view. You know what I mean? It's just
it's shot well. Yeah, that's good.
So good.
Yeah, the director, Lana knows what she's looking for, so she has it planned out perfectly, and that's the shot they wanted. They fucking nailed it. They fucking
super
nailed
good.
it.
I enjoyed that freaking scene so much.
There's so many here for me to pick from. I'm trying to think of like which one I even want to talk about.
About when Neo and freaking Trinity jump off the roof and then she's flying.
That's That's whatever.
That's whatever.
I think probably Neo and Morpheus when they're fighting each other. I really like that the whole sequence, and I like at the end when Neo does this like little push, and then it expands, and then Morpheus goes flying, and then it shows like a top view of the whole dojo, like and it expands, and there's light, and like the shot is nice. I like that shot. It's done really well.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Again,
overall, there's a lot of
there's
a lot of artistic
so many
there's a lot of
freaking
artistic
good
shots in here.
shots in this movie, and one of them just happens to be the one that I was explaining about Neo and Trinity fighting in that big old freaking brawl with all the agents and the other people in there.
Yeah,
when they freaking have the overall view of Neo reaching and Trinity reaching, like that view in itself. Just so many people crowded and trying to see that. That was an awesome shot. Also,
yeah,
you can see the pain and the freaking love at the same time, just fucking trying to be with the person.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
love the framework. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how about we go on to the next thing?
We are. I'm just gonna make a quick note here because I know you mentioned computer generated things in this movie. We don't have a special effects or like a digital effects category for this because it's literally it's all digital. There's not a lot of practical effects in this movie, so we're just gonna completely skip that. You know, we can mention that the graphics in this movie are incredible.
Yeah, the graphics in the movie are really, really.
They're top notch. So
they really are.
We don't really even need to discuss it because high budget, you're gonna get the best graphics. So. Let's move on to performance. So overall performances from all the actors, pretty fucking awesome. I'd have to say my two favorites would definitely be Smith and Morpheus.
Really?
Yeah. Even over Trinity and Neo.
Really?
I like their performance. Their new adaptations of those characters because they know what they are. They know that they're not the original versions of those characters.
Yes.
And they made it their own, but they made it so unique. And Smith is like cocky and knows how powerful he is, and he knows that he needs to be thankful, for Neo for setting him free. And Morpheus realizes that he was basically a computer generated program built based off of two characters, which are complete opposites. But he's found the peaceful center. So
I like Bugs. I enjoyed Bugs very much.
She has a really good performance, yeah.
She does have a really good performance. I also like Niobe. Niobe was definitely another character that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think we definitely
Jada Pinkett Smith, definitely, I think she nailed Niobe, what she would actually be.
At 60 plus years?
60 plus years.
Yeah, because she was... How old was she in the original? I think she's like in her 30s. So
Maybe?
she's like in her 90s or hundreds at this age.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So how do you act? How do you even pretend to act?
You be that
90?
grumpy old bitch of a woman that knows what she needs to fucking be.
You're missing the point, though, that most people don't even live that long.
No, yeah.
And that's
okay, yeah. I understand what you mean by that.
And that's also with modern science keeping us alive. And they live in a fucking wasteland of a world.
But remember, they're talking about growing these freaking, how they're growing the strawberries and everything, trying to progress their lifespan to an even longer life.
That's the same thing as having the capacity for a triple bypass.
This stuff was not accessible to them in their world, and now.
And you think a triple bypass is?
I don't know. There's a lot of machines there, bro.
I highly doubt
probably not on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the other characters...
The age is definitely crazy.
But one of the other characters that I gotta say is Sati? Sati.
Her character's fine.
I enjoyed her character.
But her role was so small. I wouldn't even. It
was small. I will guarantee that it was small. But what I enjoyed most was the fact that as an older girl, she mentioned that we've met once before before to Neo, and it was that little girl that was telling him to bend the spoon.
No,
But don't bend the spoon. It was.
no.
Did you go? She's met before.
Yeah, but that's the wrong part.
Is that a different girl though? Because that was
It's not a girl that tells him to bend the spoon. It's a young boy. He's one of the other potentials.
One of the other potentials.
Yes.
All right. Well, then she was. Which one was she? She was the one.
So her character is introduced in the third movie in Revelations when Neo's stuck at the train station with the
there you go,
train
the
guy.
train station.
Yeah. So he's locked in like a. It's not the Matrix. It's like a program in between the Matrix. So the train guy has all authority. Neo had no powers there.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a sub program. She was stuck there also, basically being held hostage.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I enjoyed that they.
I like that they brought her. I like that they brought her character.
Brought her
back.
character back.
They tied her dad's character into the movie. That's good. It's nice to have the connections there.
I enjoyed her being in the movie.
She was her overall performance was just okay because she wasn't in the movie long enough for us to be like, her performance is amazing.
Yeah,
her performance was fine for what it was. Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I mean, if you really want to get into it too, Neil Patrick Harris is fucking awesome.
Neil Patrick Harris, we need to talk about him as the
Harris
as the motherfucking analyst.
I gotta say, he is super fucking cool in this movie.
I like
when he does the. I like
seeing him as a villain. You never see him as a villain.
When he's supposed to be moving fast in those scenes, right? And then they're moving slow. You know what I mean? Like he's slowing things down, or is he speeding up to where he can't be touched or whatever?
He's
he's
changing the bullet time. So
not even the bullet time, but
he explains it. He explains it in that fight scene that he uses the element that made Neo unique. So it's not that he's basically changing. He's changing the rate. I want to say, in a way to make this make more sense, I want to say he's changing like the frames per second. You know, so he's just changing the rate of speed, and he's just slowing it down. So he'll stay constant, but he's just slowing everything, all the actions around him, slowing it down.
I gotta say,
because he's in control of the Matrix. He's the one doing all the shit.
Well, he's the analyst, so of course. But I mean,
even he has limitations, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, because he's not the main jefe and everything like that. But he has such a coolness to his character. Even when Trinity freaking like bursted into his house and fucking knocked him in the chin, and all of a sudden he doesn't have like a bottom fucking chin. You remember that scene? And then she snaps her fingers and he's got the chin back. Yeah. Never really loses his fucking cool.
Well, because she can't kill him there. Because he's
program.
He's a program. So even if she was to destroy his code, he would go back to the source.
Yes.
So his character's not technically dead. You know, just goes back to the source, and then they go. Either they become either they reprogram that program and reutilize it, or they just trash that program and throw it into the little trash bin. You know?
I like how he goes, "Ow!"
Yeah,
you know, like
it's I love him as the villain.
He's such a cool.
There's only one other thing I've seen him play the villain in, and that would be Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. The show. He was in the show.
Yeah, okay.
But not the movie. He played the villain. But he did a really good job. So it was like nice to see him continue to play the villain.
Yeah.
He does it really well. Because at first he gains your trust, right? He's the analyst.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? Like he plays the therapist, right? So he's like, that is like the most vulnerable a person can be is when you're with your therapist. He just seemed like
such an honest character.
And then he uses crazy. All of that shit against you. Because he's so evil. It's great. It's great.
I loved him. He's no matter what he does, he just overall Neil Patrick Harris is just an amazing actor. So
so I think we're good there. Let's move on. I guess we're on to the budget now.
Budget.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give you a shot here. Out of all the Matrix movies, you know the budget for the Matrix movies, they were kind of high.
They're always high.
You know what I mean?
They're big budget films.
So Do you want to guess what the budget is for the movie, or should I tell you what the budget is?
I'm going to tell you the budget this time.
Because I know
190 mil.
It is 190.
It's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of dough.
It's a lot of cash.
It really is. $190 million that went into this movie, and to tell you the truth, it looks like it. You know what I mean?
It really does.
There was a lot of factors into this movie that it just so well done. You know, so well done. I believe that the performance in this movie, as far as the direction and the screenplay and the writing and the characters in this, that made it the way it did, and it was a completely different direction for it. So damn well, you know, so damn well.
Okay.
That I'm fucking annoyed how much it made in the box office.
We'll get into that. So let's talk about how much it made.
Do you know how much it made? Take a good guess. Just take a good wild fucking guess how much this fucking movie made.
$427 million.
400 and what?
27 million.
$427 million.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that this $190 million movie made $427 million?
Yeah. Damn,
you overshot it like by a ton.
How much did it make?
This movie only made $136 million.
What? No way. Anyways, sorry for our fuck up.
I didn't fuck up.
Yeah, sorry for your fuck up too.
Fuck you, dude. I told you what it was. You were looking at something completely different. This is why I was so upset, because the $190 million movie
all right, so
came in only at $125 million.
I had this discussion with a friend. And we were talking about the way that they're releasing movies as of last year and then this year. That they would do partial stream. And that's actually hurting the box office numbers, you know? So so let's think of No Way Home.
Okay.
Right? It just came out.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one that just recently came out, right?
No Way Home, Spider-Man.
There was no streaming for that. That one came solely to
theaters.
Yeah. You know why? Because people were gonna go fucking see it.
Yes.
So movies like this, where people were on the fence about it, they're like, we'll do 50-50. So it gave people an option to watch it from the safety of their home or go to a theater and see it. So if this movie was strictly theatrical, we would have seen a larger turnout, because they're not including streams. Streams does bring in revenue, but they don't add that to the box office numbers.
That's the thing. That's why I feel like them releasing it into the streams it's definitely cutting their freaking
it definitely
market
hurts.
way too much.
It definitely hurts. But I mean, that is kind of the way that things are going to be going now. So I mean, they need to figure out a way to incorporate that so that we get the sequels we deserve. You know, I don't know whether or not people believe that this movie deserves a sequel, but I wouldn't mind expanding on it. I also wouldn't mind if they ended it here. I'm good either way.
Yeah.
But in the future, there's going to be movies where like they're iffy on whether or not it's going to make any money.
Yeah.
So they do both. They release it in box office, they release it for stream, and then that's going to hurt ticket sales, because like why would you pay like $20 to go see it? Then you got to go to concession, you got to be around fucking shitheads or talking during the movie. There are a lot of negatives to going to a movie theater.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of positives. We don't need to get to the positives, because we all know what the positives are. If you're a movie goer, you love the theater. But the thing is, if you're not sure and you're on the fence about spending money, your hard-earned money on a film you're not sure is going to be good, why wouldn't you watch it from home? So that's going to hurt ticket sales in the long run, and we're not going to get sequels that movies probably deserve. You know?
Yeah, no, I understand and I get that and all, but I mean, it just hurts. It hurts production. It hurts the overall movie, because however good it actually is, and you know, I enjoy movies as much as the next person, to want to have another movie like that or whatever it is, I can't, like, I hate the fact that they bring it out to the streaming side of everything.
I don't hate it. I just feel like they shouldn't do it at the same time. So what they should do is they should release the movie theatrically, right, and put it in the box office, and then after the movie leaves the box office, throw it up for stream.
Yeah.
You know, give the movie a chance to
instead of just going straight to box office and streaming.
Exactly.
Box office first.
Exactly. Give the movie a chance to make some money.
Yeah.
Because movies cost money to make, and let's be real. This was on HBO. This was on HBO Max, right? How much is an HBO Max subscription? It's probably less than. I don't know. It's got to be less than fucking $20 a month.
$20 or something like
right?
that.
That's $20 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's the whole month. That's one ticket to the movies. So it's like
you're talking about people that are trying to put so much work into something like that.
Exactly. So it's like we're not.
How long are freaking movies in theaters now? Like 2-3 weeks, the most, or whatever.
It depends.
And then
it depends.
All go straight to the streaming side of everything.
If a movie's making money, it will stay in theaters longer. But if a movie doesn't make any money the first week, they might try a second week, and if it doesn't make any, they pull it.
Yeah, no,
it goes real quick. So
it's definitely it's a crazy fucking situation for sure.
They need to give movies a chance to make movie in the box to make profit in the box office, because these big budget movies cost a lot. They have to pay a lot of people.
They do,
right? They have to pay a lot. The whole production staff is enormous for almost any movie now. You're looking at thousands of people that have to pay.
Yeah,
you know. And so that's why I support going to the movies, to the theater, because that pays for all that.
Yeah.
Streaming doesn't necessarily pay for that. The only thing that, I'm sure HBO has a contract with the film studios, and they probably take a small portion of it.
Yeah.
But they're not getting the amount of money they need to help their production company grow and have budgets for other movies.
Oh yeah, no.
So if they don't have budgets for other movies, we're not going to be getting any upcoming films. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I completely agree with that. But yeah, but that's crazy though. The budget for the movie, $190, came out $125. I think it should have just given the theater a little bit longer just to give it a chance, really, instead of going just straight to the fucking stream. But
yeah,
it is what it is, man.
Yeah. It is what it is. So I say we move on from the budget and we go on to our next category here.
Yes, sir.
Which is the outro.
And for the outro, let's see if I can remember this correctly.
You want to run it?
I'm going to try to.
Oh, okay.
Because what if I remember this correctly, with the outro being I guess at one point Trinity and Neo end up on the roof, and after they're being chased by everybody.
Jesus Christ. Make me another drink. And I'll go over that.
You go over it. I'm fine.
Okay. So the outro. Roughly about the last 15 minutes.
I'm going to try, but this guy wants to be a bitch about it. Whatever.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Stupid.
So roughly about the last 15 minutes starts off with your favorite action sequence.
Yeah, exactly.
With Trinity about to leave. I think they're in a bar. She's about to leave the bar, and her husband's like, Trinity, or Tiffany. She's like, I hate that fucking name. And, she's like, let go of my hand. Or, she's going to fuck him up. And, he changes into a bot, and she fucks him up. And little quick side note, her husband, his name is Chad. So that's a reference to, a hot guy, a hot fucking stereotypical douchey guy, right? Also, that guy...
Stereotypical douchey guy.
Yeah, that's what they refer to them as. Chads. Have you never heard that before?
No, I haven't. But
there's Karens, there's Chads,
Yeah. No
okay.
shit. Okay, cool.
And also, the guy who plays her husband, Chad, he actually plays Neo's stunt double in the first Matrix.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he plays his stunt double in the first Matrix.
Oh, that's cool.
He also directed John Wick.
Oh, really?
Fucking crazy, right? So,
no shit.
Wow. It's interesting. It's interesting for that. So this is where, they fucking are fighting. The SWAT team's pulling Neo back. The SWAT team's pulling Trinity back, and they're fighting to get to each other, and they finally clasp, and the whole thing blows them all the fuck back, right? And then at the same time, the analyst is behind the bar trying to get to Deja Vu, his cat, and then Smith is walking up to him, ready to fuck his shit up. And then Neo and Trinity blast everyone away, and then the analyst gets up and he's like, "You think this is over? This isn't over." And then fucking Smith just lights him up. Like he just shoots him all over the place, and he like just dissipates, you know. And then Smith looks at Neo and he's like, "This is where our limited alliance is like, it's over." And he gives Neo this one piece of information. I'm not sure if you caught this or not. Interesting, right? Because there's this reference to this in other movies, and also this has been a big topic for everyone that's like a Matrix fan. He says, I wrote it down. He says, "You know the difference between me and you, Tom? Anyone could have been you." That's unique, because that refers, at least the way I interpret it, and several others have interpreted it, that you took a drink without cheersing me, bitch. You spit it back? That's what I thought. Anybody could be the one. Just needs the right motivation.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of like Reddit debates on whether or not there's
But you said that this type of reference was in the other movies as well?
So in the first movie, we were just talking about the kid with the spoon, right?
Yes.
So you later find out, so we're going to put that there, and we're going to move on to the movie 2, when he meets the architect. The architect tells Neo that there has been several interpretations of the Matrix, and there's been several potentials for the one, or not potentials, but actual...
not exactly like candidates or anything like that.
No,
right?
not no. There's been several the ones, and every time the one is supposed to pick a certain amount of people from Zion and start civilization.
I actually
over.
remember this.
So let me finish before you fucking go, okay?
Well, I'm just saying, because he also meets the architect, right, in that freaking dome with all the
movie screens,
and everything like that, and he gives him the same proposition of
this is what I'm talking about. So he's that guy is the architect of the Matrix. He's telling him how he set the system up.
Gotcha.
So they had several interpretations of the Matrix that didn't work out well, and the current one that they were in at that time is the version that had worked the best. They had 6 other ones before him, right? So the Matrix is old as fuck, and the way he set it up is the one comes to the source, which would be the architect. The architect gives him the information. He goes back to Zion or wherever the little home is, takes a selection, and then the machines destroy that thing, and then they rebuild the population. They continue the cycle. It's a way to control humans.
Yeah.
Right? The only difference here is that he tells you that the architect tells you that there's only the one, but there are other potentials. Right?
Gotcha.
He's trying not to give the humans like hope that anyone could do this, because then it would overrun the system. Because it's just a simulation. And like even Morpheus said, some rules can be bent, others can be broken. So if you learn the system, potentially you can also be the one.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why when he goes to see the Oracle in movie 1, there's all the other potentials there.
Yeah.
So they've unlocked a certain part of the system, but they haven't unlocked everything yet. So in theory,
definitely got to go back and watch it.
So in theory,
interpret some more of the fucking movie.
Anybody can unlock all that stuff.
And so
you said, it was just a line that I took, and I was like, "That's fucking cool." It's like it was very deep for what
you definitely ran with it for
was.
sure. You ran with it.
Very deep for what it was. So, anyways, he tells him that, and then he vanishes just like that. Boop. A little sound effect and everything. Boop.
So stupid.
So they go outside and they're like, Sikhs are like, oh man, we're surrounded by bots. There's bots fucking everywhere, all over the place. And then Shepard's like, I don't suppose you could fly still, huh? And he's like, and and
then you see the
you
ground
see
move
the ground
a little
move,
bit.
and you're like, oh shit.
Nope, that's
And
not
he's
gonna
like,
happen.
Nope, that's not gonna happen. And so now they gotta fucking like drive through all
yeah,
these
exactly.
spots.
They gotta fucking try to get away and everything like
and
that.
then Trinity shows up on her bike, and she's like, jump on, Neo, and just fucking now they're driving through all these bots, and Shepard and Lexi and all the other guys are either like in a car, and like it gets overrun by bots, and like Lexi's starting to get all fucked up, and you see her avatar's getting fucked up, and then her body in the real world, you can see it like blood's
spitting up
coming out of
blood
her
and
mouth,
everything. Yeah.
And this is when Bugs asks Zeke to send her in. He's like, I can send you there, but there's no guarantee I can bring you back. He's like, he can send her, but so she goes. They fuck shit up. Like she goes in. Her, Shepard, the other guy. They
I just
fuck
love
all
her
these,
fucking character.
They
Dude.
they
so
fuck all the bots.
Good.
They fuck all the bots up. They save Lexi. They save the other guy, which I forgot his name, the handsome dude who's like a neurologist, and
because they were in that fucking car and they were ganging up on that fucking car.
They were about to
fucking get fucked.
Yeah.
And then Bugs shows up and starts shooting the fuck out of everybody, and it was just super cool scene.
And then that's kind of like the last time we see them for a little bit there. And then now it's mainly focused on Trinity and Neo. And like this is where her dream comes into play when she's driving down the street, and then the other bots turn on, right? And I like the sequence when it happens. A guy wakes up and his wife's all like, what's the matter? And all of a sudden you see his eyes like, and then they have the code, and he just runs through the glass, and she's like, ah! And he jumps through the glass and just head first right into the ground, tries to hit Neo and Trinity.
Basically like human bombs fucking
they're like kamikaze shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the fucking, and to me, it seems like such a gruesome scene.
Dude, it is so brutal.
It is such a gruesome scene.
And the way they splatter on the ground
it's
is so
fucking
intense.
Beautiful scene.
It's really good. It's really good.
It's
come
such
down
a beautiful scene.
And they splatter, and there's like blood, and you see like the meat.
You just
pretty
fucking,
intense.
it's fucking
intense.
crazy.
And then Neo and Trinity get away, but they also, I believe they crash, right? They crash, and they get out of the car, and they have to go up a building. And then Bugs and Shepard and all them, they're asking where they're at. They're like, oh, they're pinned down. And now Trinity and Neo are on the roof of one of the buildings, and they're trying to find a way out. And there's these fucking helicopters surrounding them because they're technically in the kill zone.
Yeah.
And they're just, the helicopters like shooting bullets at them, and like Neo's like blocking it.
Don't knock your mic.
Neo's blocking it with his telekinesis, and it's fucking super intense. You don't know whether.
I love the fact that he uses his telekinesis as much as he can possibly fucking do.
I would use it all the time.
All the scenarios.
If I had
just fucking like he can't do anything else.
But why wouldn't you,
he's still a badass while he's doing it.
But why wouldn't you? That's okay. Let's talk about telekinesis versus martial arts. Which is more powerful? Telekinesis.
Kicking
why wouldn't
ass,
you use it all the
man?
time?
Kicking ass.
No, it's not. Because you'd be like, let's fight. And I'm like, crush. And like, your whole body's like
crushed.
I don't care who.
Well, I don't know if he has that type of power. I mean, like he fucking
to crush somebody.
Well, if he could, he fucking would do it all the time, right?
That's the thing is, I don't know why he doesn't.
I don't think he has that ability.
But he can block a fucking minigun.
He used to be able to fucking fly. He can't no more.
Yeah, because he's not there yet.
I'm just saying.
If you can stop bullets, I think you can break some bones and fuck some people up.
Maybe he probably never gave it a shot.
Not
so
maybe. I'm just
he
saying,
doesn't have your mentality, I guess.
That's why I would be the better one.
The options.
I'd be the better one.
The options are endless for you. Apparently,
fuck yeah, they are. If I have telekinesis, you better hope I don't get that.
Your
shit.
femur broken. You ever had a cracked femur?
I think I would pull all the bones out of your body and watch you fall into a fleshy heap.
Fucking gruesome, dude. Fucking gruesome. But anyways,
so he's blocking all the bullets from the little minigun on the helicopter, and then the helicopter from behind him shoots, and he grabs the fucking missile and the rocket, and he flings it at another one, which is finally a good use of the telekinesis. He fucking uses that and fucking throws it someplace else, blows that shit up, and so now they're pinned, and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta get off the roof," and so they go to like potentially fly off the roof. Like,
I don't know if they were just. I don't know. I don't think they were trying to fly. As a matter of fact, I think they were just trying to
escape.
Jump. You know how they jump from building to building?
I don't think they were trying to do that.
I think they were just trying to jump from building to building. Because it looked like
no,
that's what they were trying to
build. The next building was way further than any of the other buildings were in the simulation.
But the thing is, their ability to jump from a building
guess.
to the other buildings.
Guess, but the building
they were trying to jump.
But it was so much further than any of the buildings in the simulations.
So what? They remember what they were capable of doing, you know,
this is
back
further,
in the
though.
day. But probably.
Well, either way, either if they were trying to jump or if they were trying to fly, didn't work out well for Neo. But Trinity was floating, so like she's now floating with Neo. She's holding Neo. He's like, I'm not doing this, and Trinity's like has this realization that she is also the one, right?
But then again, Neo also thought he didn't think that he was the one to begin with. You remember them talking about that?
He mentions that several times. We don't need to go into that because it's not relevant to this part.
It's not, but I mean, you know.
So the helicopter shows up, and then she's like, not today, and she flies away.
Yeah.
Right? And then the time passes, right? And then we go to the analyst's house, and you see a distant shot of the house, and all of a sudden there's an explosion at the house.
Not even an explosion, a tear away of
it like rips away
the building.
Yeah, rips away the whole wall in the front of the house. And then Neo and Trinity fly in. They both fly in, just land there. And the analyst is like sitting there and he's drinking like coffee, and he's like, it's a little dramatic, you know? Like,
and then she goes up to him real quick and then just fucking just hits him one in the jaw. And as she hits him in the jaw, like that part of his jaw is gone. He's trying to fucking say shit, but it's gone. Yeah. Like, then she snaps her finger and his Jesus. Jaw's back. Yeah. And then that's the part where he goes, dramatic much?
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain himself about what it is that he's doing. She's all pissed off because how dare you use children?
Yeah.
You know, and she's just so fucking furious.
He calls her a bitch, and then she she fucks him up.
Yeah,
she basically really beats the shit out of him, and then they talk.
Yeah,
he just tells them, he's like, "Oh, you think you won? You think this is it? Well, you had a small victory, but it's like in the long run, he talks about his plan, how people are happy being in the Matrix. They don't want to be unplugged. They're happy and content where they are. And he already made this statement earlier in the movie. You know, he referred to it as pigs, like happier than pigs and shit is how he referenced it.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, well, they basically state that we're going to change everything. They're going to change everything. They're going to change his world around, try and free some minds. And I think that's basically it.
I love how they were trying to explain what it is that they're going to be able to do as far as her and Neo being into the Matrix, that as they're talking to the analysts and everything like that, they just find whatever it is that he's saying so hilarious. They're both laughing.
Well,
Neo's laughing. Trinity's laughing.
You also have to imagine that, in there, they're incredibly powerful.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, it just seems, and they're in the last scene of them being able to take off, both Trinity and Neo fly, and you see them in the air. And it's almost the same scene as when Neo first started to fly, going into the air and coming into the scene.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And it's just freaking great.
They used the same song that they did, but just a different cover.
Yeah.
He's a different
cover.
cover.
And now it's two of them in there, and it just cuts off from right there.
Yeah. They do the cover of the Rage Against the Machine song.
It is such a great freaking scene.
It was really good. I really
enjoyed this movie. It was a fun movie. And
it was a very fun movie.
Really had a good time with it.
I think it was, people are, when I read like some stuff online, they didn't directly say it was a sequel. They were saying it's like a remake of a video game, and I'm like, I don't believe that to be true, because it literally continues the storyline. Like, I understand like the gaming thing is involved in the beginning of the movie, but that's a way to keep Neo locked into the Matrix.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily what the movie's about.
Yeah, no, of
So,
course.
I didn't like that interpretation. Like I saw it on several different videos.
You see, the thing is, people don't,
but not just videos. I saw it on several different sites. That were credible.
But again, people don't do their research to see what it is that
like
these people are.
They were also from credible sites. There was some credible sites. There was like, what?
Yeah, you got to do your research. Look into the movie. After you see the movie, take what you can get from it, and you see that somebody went through a lot of heartache and hurt to try to cope with something and create something that we enjoyed.
Expanded on the universe we
already
loved.
I now have a different opinion and view on this movie because now I know, what this woman went through to try to build something like this, to cope and entertain people with. Yeah. To do two different things, and it's freaking like my idea of it all has just changed completely.
Yeah.
I was going to rate this movie a certain way, but now that I've understand it more and like I've envisioned what it is that's it's supposed to be, like I have a completely different fucking view on it.
So what do you say we move on to the rating?
Let's do it.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. So what do you think?
All right.
You want me to lead? You good?
I'll lead.
Okay.
I'll lead. I don't mind leading.
Okay.
Overall, like I said, I did enjoy this movie. It was a fantastic movie, and now I got a different perspective of everything that I got from it.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'm actually going to give this movie. I'm going to give it a 4 Brad Pitts.
We did Brad Pitt already.
Did we do Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Did we do George Clooney? Okay. How about Matt Damon?
No.
4 Matt Damons.
Cool. 4 Matt Damons. Not who I was going to pick.
I figured you wouldn't.
But I'll take it.
4 Matt Damons.
Mm-hmm. 4 Matt Damons. I agree. I was going to go with the solid 4.
Give it a solid 4?
It definitely wasn't as groundbreaking as number 1. The first movie was so philosophical and it was super in depth. It way outshines the rest of the movies. The rest of the movies expand on that universe, but the first movie knocks it out of the park with just the theory, just the interpretation of the Matrix. So that this movie definitely isn't a 5, but it's definitely no lower than a 4. Like I think 4 is a solid.
Yeah.
A solid.
Originally, I was going to give this movie a 3 because I didn't exactly understand what it had to do with the Matrix sides and things after seeing the other Matrix movies. But now I have an understanding of what it is that this woman was trying to accomplish and this is why I say do your research when you see these things, because it could be completely different from what it is that you're trying to take from it. What they're trying to put into the movie that it's just overall the work and everything. And it just gave me a newfound respect for it, appreciation. And that's why I jumped it up to a 4. And you know what? I get it. I fucking get it. You can see the hurt in it all. You can see the fucking love that she had for it.
Oh, I mean,
and it's just fucking,
that was like the Matrix was a passion project for her since the beginning, and it just, the universe got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they finally closed it out. And she wasn't even gonna open that universe up anymore. People had asked her. She was talking about other production companies were like, you could make this much money. She was talking about she was joking, but she was like, they would drive truckloads of money to my house, but I'm sure they would offer her large amounts of cash.
Yeah, of course.
But she was like, I'm done with it, which I get. If the creator doesn't want to expand, I don't think it should be forced, because you're not going to get the same results, right? You're not going to get the original love if you're solely if the production company solely just wants to make profit.
Yeah.
And the creator doesn't feel that they want to expand on the universe. The overall quality of the film is gonna be lackluster. It's gonna be shitty,
Yes.
So I like that Lily and Lana both turned it down, and then Lana just decided to expand upon it one day,
Yeah.
and she came with that decision, and I have respect for that. It's not like people were offering her money and she's like, well, I can make a fuck ton of money. Money shouldn't always be the whole premise of it, but I mean, there should be some, but I mean, you should have a passion for it, because that's when the movies usually shine.
That's exactly
that's when they shine.
I hate the fact that it's just money hungry people that are just trying to put a film out there just to make fucking serious dough or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't even work out to be something. But I mean, when you have a passion for something and it works out like
overall.
that, quality, okay, quality. You're gonna fucking make something happen.
Not everyone. They look for that in a movie. So I mean,
nobody has a really good appreciation for those that are just trying to wake.
So, I mean, just go fuck
those are the people that are trying to make a quick buck. Don't have that kind of appreciation. They're just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah,
but people with passion.
I get it, though, so. Yeah, passion's where you want to be for producing a good film. And I think this was a pretty good film. I really enjoyed it. I like how they expanded on the universe.
Yeah.
And I liked where she took it. If she decides to make a sequel, which I highly doubt, just based on the box office, which is unfortunate, I'm fine where it ended, to be honest. We don't need another trilogy.
We don't need another trilogy. We don't need another add-on. But if she decides that she wants to do something,
I would totally love it.
I'm totally fucking in.
Totally love it.
Totally in.
Yeah. So we good there?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, we're good there.
Good there. Overall, fuck, man.
So
good episode, really.
It's pretty good. So I say
we're
at the end. Let's do some closing remarks. So Matrix Resurrections, I believe you can still watch it on HBO Max at the release of this coming out, I believe, about a week.
Probably.
It should still be available on HBO Max.
It should be.
All right. But I mean, I don't think it's in theaters anymore. I don't know. If it is, go see it there. Try and support
definitely.
it. But if not, catch it on HBO Max. If you missed that, I don't know, purchase or rent the movie. It's definitely worth the watch if you enjoyed The Matrix, the whole series. It's definitely worth the watch. And then give your opinion. Have your own opinion on the film.
Exactly.
We will get to the rest of I know we kind of jumped all of them and went right to the Matrix 4, but I mean, it's kind of what was current, and I wanted to start the new year off with something new.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get out to the
we're
other
definitely going to do all of them.
We have 500,000 plus films that we're going to try to critique in our lifetime, and we're going to do the best we can.
Yeah. Plus, I really want to get to the Animatrix. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have the thing.
I can't wait to get to that. It's going to be fantastic. So
it's actually pretty good.
It's really
but
good.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later.
Again, as always, we have been your hosts at your Not Your Everyday Critics. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.
Helps the algorithm.
Definitely does. And let us know if there's a movie that you want us to critique. And we're more than willing to try and get these critiques out for you. We have a couple of more movies that we're going to be doing. But again, let us know what it is that you want us to give you our opinions on. And we'll, like I said, we're more than willing to do so.
Yeah, if you want to leave a comment down below on movies you want us to critique, or you can directly email us at nyec.gsc@gmail.com. We'll get to your movies as soon as possible. I mean, we have a couple movies lined up, but I mean, if you suggest a movie and we're like, fuck it, we'll bump one of our old ones back, we'll do it. I believe that's basically it. We don't really have anything else.
Alrighty. And as always, you guys have a good day, weekend. I don't know what it is.
I don't know when you're seeing this.
We put videos out every now and again.
Yeah, we don't judge.
But again, happy movie going.
Happy movie going.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.